are, Matt. The Perfect Bite Podcast.
Right.
The lasagna episode.
Who doesn't like lasagna?
You know, I've been getting a lot of pressure from Matt. His Italian heritage. We gotta do lasagna. We gotta do lasagna. Tom, can you make a good lasagna?
Well, it's weird that I'm used to just taking out of the box. So it was really nice to see, assembly.
Or off another person's plate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're back here in Chef Tom's kitchen, and I'm sure you would agree this is the room where the magic happens.
It's where it started.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's where it started. Our first podcast was from here, and we're back again. And today it is lasagna. Now, I want to say something. Of all the foods, and there's a couple. You got to say a Philly cheesesteak,
right,
that are so dear to people's hearts that I'm sure that we're going to set someone off that when we show our production of the lasagna that I don't do it that way, right?
Okay. Probably, but I really don't care. Do you? Because yours looks amazing. What you did today was just love.
And what we want to do is we want to make a well. So I'm mixing the semolina in with the regular flour. And I'm going to make a little well in here. And we're going to gradually, I could add a little salt in here, I guess. And we are going to bring the flour into the eggs. So I'm going to use 4 eggs here today. And I'm just going to do one at a time. And I'm just going to mix them and break the yolks. Tomatoes. You want to make sure the place of origin is, these are certified. A lot of Italians will use a mirepoix in making their sauce. Onion, celery, carrots. Today I'm just using onion, gives it a little bit sweeter flavor. And so I'm going to dice this onion. So these were off the peel, so I just had to do it this way. And then I'm just gonna run my knife through this. Turn sideways. Supermarket that have sugar in them. I don't use sugar in my Italian sauce. I know a lot of people will be like, ah! But I don't. I was taught by Italians not to. I don't wanna grill these, I just wanna soften them. So we're gonna put this onion in here like this. I'm gonna add just a pinch of salt that'll draw out the water in the onion so that we get a translucent sweating of the onion as opposed to a grilled and causing pork. One of the pounds of pork I bought is actually Italian sausage. So that's your pork. So we're using 4 pounds of beef here. Matt, if you want to, you can stir that. We don't want to brown the onions. We just want to turn them soft. Okay? So we'll add the Italian sausage once we get a little bit of this meat browning. Also, I want to use some fennel seed. So I bought some fennel seed here today because fennel is what you find in Italian sausage. It gives you kind of it sounds weird, but it gives you kind of a licorice taste. I got to get all my garlic out of the way so I can use my... Yeah, kind of. It's got that... we don't notice... We notice it when it's used in savoring cooking, many times it takes on... what we like to say is that Italian sausage flavor. And that's exactly what it reminds me of once you put it in with protein. A lot of people are... they really don't know what fennel is. And one of my favorite dishes is fennel chicken. Where you actually use the fennel as your vegetable. You cook it in the juices of the chicken. And we're just going to put a few of these fennel seeds in here. And we're going to put a grind to them. And I want you to smell this, Matt.
Yeah, it's opening up all the flavor.
Dana.
Oh, I know.
Is that great?
smells like licorice and Italian sausage.
Yeah, right. So we're in good shape here. I'm going to add these tomatoes in here. And yeah, this is, there's going to be some collateral damage. These are San Marzano tomatoes, and I just crush them with my hand. I am going to use an immersion wand blender to put in here just to smooth it out. But man, there's nothing.
This is just a lot more fun, huh?
It's like playing in the sandbox. Yeah.
Or the litter box.
This is just the best tomatoes. You buy other whole tomatoes. When you buy other whole tomatoes, you don't get the quality of this. We use some great ingredients, and that's what makes that labor of love goes into what we did today. And that was when I say we, Matt didn't really do anything.
I was just fiddling on my phone for about 6 hours.
But homemade lasagna noodles. So I made up a dough.
Bechamel.
We let it rest. How long? An hour?
Honestly, about.
Yeah. And it's really nice. And it feels good. And I put just a dash of flour on it, but it really didn't need flour. So I got it on the widest setting. And we're going to do our first roll through here. And I can usually tell if the pasta's right on the first roll how it comes out. Not cracking on the sides. It looks pretty good. And what I like to do is square up my pasta. So I just do this. I'll go back in here for one time so I get some nice square sheets. We got a lot of pasta. Okay, so we're gonna cut this in half. We got a lot of pasta, guys. All right, Josh, cut. I like to do my lasagna with a bechamel bottom. I've seen it done a number of times in the industry that way, and I've always liked it. So we made a bechamel, made a beautiful pot of meat, which we added some of the sauce to.
Tom, it's 9 p.m. I got here at noon. Are we going to eat or what?
Yeah. All right, I like to put a little bit of bechamel on the bottom, so I knocked out a bechamel for this to put it on here. I noticed this is just a little heavier, so I'm going to take a little scoop and put it over here. Just gives a nice bottom to it. I know a lot of people put their meat on the bottom, but I like to put a bechamel. So we're going to do the first layer of noodles, and these are the homemade noodles that we made. Lay it in here end to end.
Chef Tom's finest. Pork, beef,
right?
Spicy.
We used pork and beef,
hot Italian sausage,
and that was pork Italian, hot Italian sausage. Mozzarella here. One thing about lasagna, if you're going to make it right. Don't be too tight on your ingredients. You don't want to overwhelm it either. That's probably good. And I'm going to put a little Parmesan on that later too.
which is ironic because you used non-fat mozzarella. So
no, I did
confused
not.
By that.
I did not.
It was rock hard.
Now, I know there's some advantages to using the low moistures, part skim milk mozzarella because it doesn't leave all that wateriness to the dish. I used whole milk mozzarella on some of the layers, and then I finished with fresh mozzarella, which is pretty watery.
Right.
But I finished with it on the top, and so it got bubbly and crunchy, and so you lose a lot of that moisture, so I'm not worried about that affecting the construction of the lasagna. Sides, so we're going to use half on one and half on the other. Right? You want to try that?
Sure. A little raw egg, never heard anyone.
No.
And wouldn't you say there's no real right way to make a lasagna? I mean, you can kind of make it your own, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you layer, you could do vegetables. You could do.
You could
do so
spinach.
much.
Yeah. You could do all vegetables. You could
You could
do.
do white sauce lasagnas. You could do red sauce lasagnas.
You really could.
You seafood lasagnas.
You could do a seafood. A great crab seafood lasagna would be really, really great.
Did you used to bite their heads off like the schmuck or no?
There was a crab that challenged me.
The one with the knife.
He picked the knife up.
I heard that story.
Yeah. But we're not talking that today. We're talking lasagna. I don't know if there's a more endearing thing that cuts across a lot of colors. There's cultures, like in the Puerto Rican culture, they do a pasteloni, I think it's called. Anyway, where they use plantains.
Oh, okay.
And they build the lasagna with that, and it's a dear dish in their culture.
You excited, Tom?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yes.
Nothing better
I'm
than
gonna have horrible.
I made this red sauce in my restaurant for 7 years.
You put margarine on your bread?
Never.
Are you a margarine guy?
No.
You know, I grew up eating margarine.
Yeah, we did too, because that's what they said was good for us. Because it was
Yeah, that's worse.
It's worse.
Flies don't even land on it. You know that?
That should be. It should be.
I don't know
It
why
should be.
the
It should.
expert maggots and
It
flies.
should be a better ingredient for you over at where you live.
Fat free.
No, don't do that to me.
Toss the whole lasagna after.
You're like, well, when are they going to start eating lasagna?
We're wondering the same thing, actually.
Well, you know, part of the thing about lasagna is you got to let it sit long enough after it comes out of the oven.
So not only did we have a 9-hour preparation, but now we have a 6-hour grace period where we sit there and stare at it and smell it. But we'll get there.
It looks great, folks, and we'll be right back.
In they go.
Hang on. They're pretty deep. Cut's nice.
Now that you could hear us.
I like to finish my lasagna with the great sauce that we created. And I like to take a dabble like that, and then I like some of this fresh Parmesan that I just grated.
I might do that too.
And let it rain.
No,
I'm turning your ways,
I'll
man.
let it rain too a little bit. Why not?
Let it rain. Slice of bread on the side because I know I'm going to need it. And here we are, folks. The perfect bite lasagna. I have an Italian next to me to verify the perfect bite. So
I could already tell, Tom, just the way this looks, the cross section. You know, this is something special.
I'm pretty excited myself.
Delicious. That's lasagna.
I mean, it took our breath away. It took our, and I'm not saying that in all humility. I thank God that He's taught me how to do this stuff. But man, the noodles.
Boy, the noodles. You could taste that bechamel. I like that I could taste every individual thing you did to this. You know? And we were talking a little bit off camera too about how a lot of folks will say, day old lasagna, next day lasagna is the best. You know, how it just binds and sticks together like a brick.
I got this one to stick together, right?
You did. Yeah, you don't have many lasagnas right out of the oven like this.
Well, we let it sit for what, 15 minutes?
Right, but still, this is the structural integrity of this thing is perfect.
And it's just as delicate inside as can be, right? Creamy, ricotta, all those herbs you're tasting.
Homemade noodles too, come on.
Man, I am excited today. I'll tell you why. Because we're using basil fresh from the garden. Look at this thing, man. And I love these flower tops. They're really intense. So I'm just going to
Really?
look where yeah.
You could eat those?
I'm just going to trim it down. Yeah, you can eat
Actually,
those.
it's a very healthy plant.
It is. Getting a lot
All
of
this rain.
rain, yeah. I'm going to get a few more of these because we're using them, not only are we using them in the sauce, but we're using them in the ricotta. Good oregano too. So I'll take a bit of this off. That should be enough. I got two different kinds, so I'm going to use a little bit of this too.
What's this time?
That's
Is that rosemary?
Rosemary, yeah. I got rosemary, I got mint. Look at all these serranos starting to bloom. Serrano peppers, jalapenos.
Really?
Yeah. Thyme. I got mint. Matt,
Excellent.
I've made lasagna quite a bit, but this might be the best one that I've made. And I mean that.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I could tell when you were making it too that you knew you were making something good. You know? Yeah, this is delicious.
Josh, I can't wait for you to try this. Our main man, our main producer, has to weather through all our comments, weather through us eating this, and he's got to sit there and, you know, hope that there's something left over at the end. Well, we made plenty for you, Josh. I think, personally, just the right amount of pepper flakes.
I was going to say that too. I can
It's
taste
got
the heat.
just a touch
I
of
can
the
taste a
heat.
little heat.
I don't think it's going to offend those who don't like heat. I think it just adds a nice character to it.
Now, you added a little secret ingredient to your sauce too.
What was that?
Little red wine.
Oh, I did.
Boy, those homemade noodles make a difference, Tom.
Don't they? Sometimes you get lasagna when people make it and the noodles are half cooked. Oh, we like them crunchy.
Can you not taste your fresh herbs from the garden?
Yeah, it blows my mind.
This is special. Thank you, Tom, for...
Yeah, we don't have much comedy today. This is all about...
Well, this is very serious. This is a serious dish right here. Lasagna is one of my favorite.
Yeah, there's a reason why this is loved by people all across the land.
This transcends Italy, you know? Like, people like... Everyone loves this.
Yeah, everyone does. I don't know anybody who doesn't like lasagna. I just
And if they don't, they need to try yours.
I don't trust them as human beings.
Did you eat a lot of lasagna growing up?
None. Never.
Really?
Never seen. It was in my house.
I had it all the time.
My one brother didn't like Parmesan cheese. My oldest brother couldn't stand the smell, and I don't think to this day he even likes it.
Come on. My mom would make lasagna all the time. All the time.
I know it's hard to believe by looking at me, but I was scared of all food.
That's really hard to believe, Tom.
I obviously overcame my fear.
Yeah. What'd you do, take a bite? You didn't have many Italian restaurants?
No, we didn't eat out. We're poor.
Oh, right.
Kind of poor. I mean, brothers are always... My
guys did the
brothers
Wonder Bread.
always say, we weren't poor. No, we weren't poor. We didn't feel poor.
Wonder bread and gravy.
But, yeah, right. I told you that.
That was dinner. Well, and breakfast.
Wonder bread and gravy, potato dumplings. You know, it's easy to say that stuff when you're filming and it's your own stuff.
And no one can attest to it at home.
But I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. Excellent. I like leaving my plates so cleaned off you could just put it right in the cupboard.
You can always take a little bit of sauce. Josh, do you mind putting this plate back up in the cupboard? It's completely clean. I mean, there's not a freaking crumb on there. Matt, tell me what your Italian heritage. What's the most important thing when you're making lasagna?
When you're making it?
No, in having a completed
So you're
cup.
giving me too much credit.
Yeah, I mean, but go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the microwave, it's a 1,000-watt microwave.
Right.
No, what was your question, Tom? I'm sorry.
I can't work like this. What's the most important thing about a piece of lasagna?
How I like my lasagna. I know we talked about earlier how there's different variations of lasagna. I love them all. But how you did it today is pretty much how I truly like it. I like to have my mozzarella, my provolone, my grated cheese, whether it's Parmesan or Pecorino Romano. You gotta have ricotta. How are you not gonna have ricotta? Now, this is my first time having bechamel in mine. Loved it.
Yeah. It's not like real prevalent. It's just in that bottom.
But it's a nice addition.
Yeah.
It's like a cherry on top.
Well, we used to,
Well, a
at
cherry
one
on
of the
the bottom.
restaurants I used to work at, we used to do stuffed cannelloni.
Right.
And it was a lot to like a lasagna, but we always laid in a layer of bechamel, and we laid all those stuffed cannelloni noodles, which are larger than your manicotti. They're real big, and we laid them all in there, and then you cheese it and you sauce it and you bake it. And so it's a lot like this, except the shape of the noodles is different. Not much to be said, but this was the perfect bite, folks. I can't say it enough. It was just so good.
Oh, this is the closure right now?
Is it? All right, I thought you were...
me.
Well, here's the thing. You know, one of the first places that you go when you go out, you go to Olive Garden, you get their lasagna. You
The tour of Italy.
The tour of Italy.
Lasagna,
You go... or you go to Brio's.
Wait, that's a good question.
Brio's uses bechamel on the bottom of their lasagna.
Let me ask you, you go to an Italian joint for the first time. Do you go right for the lasagna? Or do you just play it by how you're feeling?
You know...
I wouldn't go lasagna first, I'll be honest with you.
I tell you,
even though it's one of my favorites.
Many times I'm almost like apprehensive to order other dishes. I'm like, I'll eat the lasagna. And I think, who can mess it up? And you know, one of the reasons why it doesn't get as messed up is because they're making a whole trays of it.
Right.
So they don't want to mess. It's not like putting on one steak and burning a steak, cooking it overdone. You know what I mean? There's a lot of hit and miss on individually cooked things.
Right.
You know, some people say don't eat at restaurants on the weekend because all the good health is off on weekends. So, I mean, there's times where you get different things that are cooked for the first time and it's an individual thing. It's not right. But normally, when people are making whole pans of lasagna, even a bad lasagna is not that bad.
Right.
In general.
I agree.
I've seen a lot of people have very wet lasagnas to where there's so moisture
now, I will
that
say
it just pours into the plate.
This needs to be said. The one thing you must do with the lasagna, it's got to be proportioned. No matter what those items you put in it, it's got to be proportioned. You can't have half meat, a little bit of cheese. You can't have all cheese, a little bit of meat.
Yeah.
It's got to be... The layers got to be
the
nice
layers
and
are
even.
consistent, right?
Yeah.
You saw that
no
on
matter
there.
what your layers are, no matter what you put in there.
Because the first thing is, I need more meat, right? You want to have it this, but that's going to give a different texture to it.
Right, totally.
It's been fun, Matt.
It's been great. And I really want to do this episode. And you know, you'll see us revisit episodes or concepts because, I mean, there's just so much to talk about.
I'll tell you, making the Italian beef for you, and seeing how happy you were when you ate it, making the burgers and you were happy about it.
That's the thing. Everything that you've personally made has kind of been my favorite. You're a really good chef, and you know it.
Thank you, Matt. You know, for a guy who brings sarcastic remarks at me all the time, when he does hit on something that's nice, it does mean a lot. Thank you.
Like, you guys don't understand at home. You may think, it's just, they're just saying that. No, really, I wish you all can experience this cooking. It's incredible. So,
yeah, it came out good.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. I've cooked a long time in my life, but in the last 4 or 5 years, I've really learned more about cooking than I have in all the prior years combined.
Right. All right. Well,
we're just we're tap dancing here. So I'm Tom.
Yeah, I'm Matt.
And we're the perfect bite.
Yes, we are. We'll see you next time, folks. I gotta be honest with you, I don't usually have leftovers, but...
Well, you probably just eat it cold out of the tray.
Boy, don't mind that either. Who has time?
Sorry. Oh, Josh is, there's a little collateral damage on Josh here. All right, and then...
Are these the
Matt,
tomatoes you use for your sauce?
No.
I didn't know this was going to be a 16-hour endeavor. I got plans.